Okay, so let's see. Today uh, we're installing. They're not really ceiling joists because I'm not going to drywall the ceiling in here. I'm going to drywall the walls, but they're like ceiling joists. Really, what they're for is to tie the two opposite walls together so that when the rafters, they want to push out. So over time, they're going to want to push down. They want to push these walls out if they're not tied in. So, anyway, so I'm installing 6 of them because it just seems like it's also for storage. People are going to want to put stuff up there, so it's kind of a combination of both. I use 2x12s. Probably could have used 2x10s, but if people want to store a lot of stuff up there, they're not going to sag over time. I did splice them because 16 footers were, I don't know, 20 some dollars a piece or 30, whatever they were. To go to 20 footers was like, I don't know, it's like $50 or some crazy price more. I don't know why. Anyway, so for 2x12s to get, once you go over 16 foot, the price was insane. So I just bought 8 footers and scabbed them on another 4 feet, so they overlap 4 feet. And then I put, I don't know, 60, 70 nails. So they're not going anywhere. I mean, we don't have building inspection here, like city building inspection. There's private building inspection if you want to hire a private inspector. I don't, because I used to be a framer and I know what I'm doing. But anyway, so I don't know if this would pass an inspect. I mean, it should. It's a lot of nails. They'd want an engineer to tell you how many nails to put in, probably, or something. I don't know. Anyway, but that's what I did. If you're in an area that gets inspected, of course you have to check and see what you're allowed to do. I also did the same thing here on the header because I actually needed to go over 16 feet because I need like 16 foot 9 inches. So I just did this, and then the other one, this here, this one has it on. So it's well lapped. I mean, and again, you can't see the nails because I put them in from this way, so they'd be covered, so you wouldn't see them inside the garage. But I mean, it's 150 nails. It's a lot of nails. It's not really picking up any weight either because it's not really holding the roof rafters. I mean, it's not really holding the ridge because the ridge is self-supporting. So it's not picking up that much weight, honestly. I mean, it's on a rake wall, so I figured it was fine. So that's how I did that. Again, if you're being inspected, I don't know what they allow you to do, but that's how we do it here, or that's how I'm doing it, because I'm not spending an extra maybe $300 or more to get these few boards a little bit longer. It's too much money. And like I said, usually the prices are closer. You pay more when you go over 16 foot, and then again when you go over 20 foot. But it just, I think because of the previous market with the COVID thing, when the lumber shot way up, I just think these really long lengths are lagging behind and the lumber yard, because I got quotes on them, and I when I got my quotes back for the lumber package from 3 different lumber yards, the 16 footers, anything over 16 foot, the prices were way up, so I just figured out a way around it. So anyway, so that's that. And then I guess my next, once I get this, I got one more to do here. I've got it cut. I've got my angles cut. I've got them nailed together. I'm going to put that one up here. Angles, that's the last one here. And then I'm going to put up my ridge. And then once I put my ridge up, and before I put the ridge up, I'll mark my layout on both sides of it, so I don't have to do it when it's up there. So I'll lay it on the sawhorses. I'll mark my 16-inch layout for the roof rafters on both sides, because obviously the rafters come up to both sides of it. And then as far as the wall, I didn't do a layout because each one just sits over where there's a stud, so I can just do it by eye. It's close enough. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that next. And then here, I think in a previous video I showed how to use the wall jacks on a concrete floor where you can't damage it, because you can't, it's not like an interior slab on a house where it's going to get covered with carpet and tile. you can fire pins in to hold your blocking for your wall jacks or your diagonals, your bracing and all that. You can't do that on a garage slab because it needs to stay in perfect condition. So I kind of covered how I did. I think I did this wall. Yeah, I showed how I did this wall, the jig that I made that enabled me to use the wall jacks to lift the wall up and not damage the floor. And then I used the same jig when I did the opposite wall, because I did the 2 rake walls first, and I just flipped that jig over, used it. And then for doing the side walls, I fastened my green plates down on both sides, and they're bolted. So then I was able to, I did this wall. This was the first side wall I did, so I was laying on the floor. I got the wall jack set up with the studs, the studs that they climb up, setting up like this, and then I just measured from that to the green plate here, and then I cut a piece of 2x4, and then I jacked off of that. So I jacked this wall up with the 2x4 was pushing up against, but the plate was bolted, so it can't move. And then once I stood that wall up, I took those same pieces of 2x4, laid them on the floor between the wall jack and the wall jack stud, the one used to climb up, the pole used to climb up the 2x4, back to here, and did the same thing. And so now that's all done. And then I, let's see here. Yeah, here, you don't have a lot of space here. It's a 20-foot wide garage. It's a 16-foot wide door, so you only got like 2 feet. So, there's shear issues. Now, we don't have seismic stuff here, so we don't have to worry about that. We don't really have tornadoes here, but, you can get high winds, thunderstorms, whatever. And you don't want it to move around over time. So when I attached this piece of OSB, I started it up higher. That's why I'm blocking here, so, so I could nail it, because there's a joint here now between this piece and this piece below. I wanted this up higher because I wanted to cut out of one sheet this on both sides of the garage door. I want this to be, I don't want like a joint here or even a joint here. I wanted, or a joint this way. I want to get to help with a little bit of shear for possible movement over time. So I made sure that this sheet of OSB started here and really went all the way up to here, basically, because I think, that's 4 feet to here, right? So it went all the way up to here, and then I just cut angle off the top. So I got this all out of one piece. So I've got a little bit of shear here. I know it's not much. It's only 7/16 OSB, but it's better than nothing. You could also put a piece of OSB on the inside and double it up, but I don't think it's really necessary. So anyway, so this is all cut out of one sheet down to here. Because if I would have went from the floor with the sheet, then my joint would be here. It's not as strong. So now you've got plenty of strength here for shear. Like I said, I did that on both sides of the garage. It's one of those things when you're working, you think about. You don't have to do it. It's not on the plans, but it's just something to think about. Doing stuff right, because it's supposed to last for 100 years, so to speak. And then let's see what else here. Anything else? I think that's about it. Once I start getting roof rafters up and stuff, I'll go over that. I know I did on the house, but it's just a little different. I'm going to build temporary scaffolding, a walking plank all the way across from this wall to this wall. So when I'm up here putting up rafters and putting up the ridge, I've got something to walk on. I'm not working off of a ladder. So I'll do that. I covered temporary scaffolding in a previous video. I'll probably maybe cover it again in this video. I think that's it. Yeah. That's it for now. Back to work.